It started like any other evening in Atlanta. The streets glowed under the fading sun. People heading home, unaware that a storm was about to erupt. A patrol car slowed behind a dark sedan, its driver a woman, calm, composed, and in complete control. She had broken no laws. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't reckless. Yet the flashing lights came on anyway. What followed was not a routine stop. It was an abuse of power, a calculated act of intimidation. And the woman behind the wheel? She wasn't just another citizen. She was someone far more powerful than her aggressor could have imagined. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe so more stories like this reach people who need to hear them. Her name was Maya Johnson, calm, determined, known for her unshakable sense of justice. After years of service in tough neighborhoods, she had just been promoted to captain of the 9th District, a department drowning in complaints of corruption and misconduct. She hadn't yet introduced herself to every shift, which meant many of the officers on the street didn't know her face. To Maya, that was an opportunity. It allowed her to see, unfiltered, what the public endured. That night, Maya wasn't in uniform. She wasn't driving a squad car. She wasn't carrying the weight of her title on her shoulders. She was simply another citizen, heading home after a long meeting behind the wheel of her black sedan. But to Sergeant Cole Matthews, sitting in his patrol car at the corner, she looked like something else. Cole wasn't scanning for danger. He wasn't upholding the law. He was looking for control, someone to stop, someone to intimidate, someone who wouldn't fight back. That was his routine. His sense of power didn't come from protecting. It came from dominating. The moment Maya's sedan rolled through the intersection, Cole's eyes locked on her. He didn't need a reason. He just wanted one. With a smirk, he flipped on his lights. Maya's eyes flickered to the mirror. She felt her stomach tighten, not with fear, but with recognition. She hadn't broken a single law, but she knew what this was, and as she pulled calmly to the curb, one thought settled in her mind. This was exactly the type of officer she had been promoted to confront. She rested her hands on the steering wheel, clear, visible, calm. Sergeant Cole Matthews swaggered up to her door. His boots struck the pavement with deliberate weight, the kind of walk that announced authority before a word was spoken. He leaned down, smirk curling at the edge of his mouth. "License and registration," he barked, without even saying why she'd been pulled over. Maya's voice was steady. "May I ask the reason for the stop, officer?" Cole's grin widened. "Don't play smart with me. Just hand it over," she obliged, sliding the documents across, her eyes never leaving his. He glanced at them, then back at her. Something in his tone shifted, colder now. "You look nervous," he said. "People usually look nervous when they're hiding something." Maya tilted her head slightly. "I'm not hiding anything." But Cole wasn't interested in truth. He wanted compliance, control. He shone his flashlight inside the car, sweeping over the empty passenger seat, the floor mats, the bag in the back. "Step out of the vehicle," he ordered. Maya hesitated, not out of fear, but out of disappointment. She had hoped this would be nothing more than a show of arrogance. But he was pushing further. She unbuckled her seatbelt, stepped onto the pavement, and stood tall. Cole circled her slowly, like a predator sizing up prey. "Driving alone at night. Plain clothes out here in this neighborhood." His words dripped with condescension. "Looks suspicious to me." Maya met his stare. Suspicion isn't a crime. That answer didn't sit well with him. His jaw tightened. He popped her trunk without asking, rummaged through her things. Then, with calculated carelessness, he dropped a small bag near her belongings, something that hadn't been there before. Drugs. Maya's eyes narrowed, a quiet fire burning inside. He was staging evidence, a trick he had likely used before. For a long moment, Maya said nothing. She simply looked at him, calm, steady, unwavering. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was patience. She wanted him to go as far as he was willing to go. Because every step he took deeper into this abuse, the stronger her case against him would become. Cole mistook her calm for fear. He smirked again, tightening the cuffs around her wrists with unnecessary force. "Thought you could outsmart me?" Wrong woman, wrong night. But he was wrong in ways he couldn't imagine. Maya's eyes scanned the small crowd forming across the street. She saw their anger, their disbelief. She saw herself reflected in their phones, and she knew. The moment to reveal the truth was coming. Very soon, Cole Matthews would realize just how badly he had miscalculated. The cold steel of the cuffs dug into Maya's wrists as Cole tightened his grip, shoving her slightly toward the hood of her own car. Cole, puffed up with arrogance, loved it. "See this, people?" he barked. "This is what happens when you think you're above the law." Maya stayed silent. Her gaze never left him. Calm, unshaken. That unsettled him more than resistance ever could. He leaned close, his voice a venomous whisper. "You're going to spend tonight in a cell. Tomorrow, maybe worse. And nobody's going to believe you." That was the moment Maya decided it was time. With slow, deliberate motion, she shifted her stance. Her voice, steady and commanding, cut through the noise. "Sergeant Matthews," she said, her tone suddenly sharper, colder. "Do you even know who I am?" Cole laughed. "Doesn't matter. You're just another perp tonight." Maya locked eyes with him. And then, calmly, firmly, she delivered the words that froze him in place. "I am Captain Maya Johnson, your new commanding officer." The street went silent. Even the crowd held its breath. Cole blinked, his face draining of color. He thought she was bluffing, until she twisted slightly, pulling a slim leather badge case from her coat pocket. She raised it high, the gold shield gleaming under the streetlights. The phones zoomed in. The bystanders gasped. Cole staggered back, disbelief etched across his face. "No, that's not... You can't..." But Maya didn't let him finish. She stepped forward, cuffs still on her wrists, her voice carrying the weight of authority that no one could deny. "You just planted evidence on your captain. You humiliated your superior officer in front of witnesses and cameras. And you proved exactly why this department needed new leadership. And for the first time that night, it wasn't Maya who looked powerless. It was him." The cuffs clicked open with a sharp snap as Maya took back control. Another patrol unit had arrived, alerted by the commotion, and the younger officer who stepped out froze when he saw the badge in her hand. He moved quickly to uncuff her, his eyes darting nervously between his captain and the disgraced sergeant. Cole Matthews stood pale, sweat beading on his forehead. The swagger was gone. The arrogance had crumbled. In its place stood a man cornered by his own corruption, exposed before the very people he had tried to impress. Maya didn't shout. She didn't gloat. She simply straightened her coat and turned to the crowd. "You have my word," she said, her voice carrying steady through the night. "What you witnessed tonight will not be ignored." Cole was taken into custody that same night, not as the enforcer of law, but as its violator. His career ended on the very street where he thought he was untouchable. For Maya, this was more than personal vindication. It was proof of why leadership mattered, why communities had lost faith in policing, and why that faith had to be rebuilt, one act of accountability at a time. Her quiet strength sent a message louder than any speech. Power does not come from a badge or a gun. It comes from integrity, from restraint, from justice. And for every viewer, this story carries a question that lingers long after the video ends. How many others, without a badge in their pocket, face the same abuse but are never believed? Maya's reveal shocked one corrupt officer into silence. But for society, it should spark something bigger, an unshakable demand for accountability, for fairness, and for a system where no one, not even those with power, is above the law. Because injustice doesn't end when one officer is caught. It ends when we refuse to accept it ever again. If you've experienced or witnessed the same, share your story in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so together we can spread the message further.